needed a new pair of shoes. She liked the way his eyes were black circles in pools of blues, and he liked the way her smile ended in a scar. So they found a place in Preston, and he found a job behind a bar. She introduced him to her friends, and they all said he was the best one by far. She introduced him to her sister, and she said she'd wait and see, and she waited and she saw, and then she agreed with all the friends. He asked her about the scar, and she explained about the ex-boyfriend. She asked him about the tattoos, and he explained about the Marvel franchise. He said, "What's this hard bit here?" And she said, "Let's look at it later." And she said, "What's this hard bit here?" And he said, "Let's look at it now." Well, by mid-autumn, they had a dog, and then they had a kid called Sawyer. His aunt had a pub in Clayton with a granny flat out the back, but he brought too much of his work home. It started to annoy her, so she packed up the whole circus and she sent them marching back. She started writing poetry in this moleskin book he bought her. Oh, I'm not sure it's real moleskin. She said, "No, I think it's more sort of vinyl." But she wrote, and it started in her palm, and it cramped up her hand, and it crept right up her arm, and in the morning, she was sitting on the cold kitchen floor. And Sawyer had never seen his parents cry before. And all his drawings on the fridge are from before his mum got sick, and these are photos here from later with the beanie and the stick. And wearing her favourite t-shirt that she had made herself that said, "Warning, writing poetry can be bad for your health." The doctor's advice was rest and reflection. The shorter the day, the sooner it passes. He got a good price for his record collection, so Sawyer could go to the good music classes. The shorter the day, the sooner it passes. And days become weeks, and they pass us too. We're all spinning round our own universes. Everyone there did all they could do. He went back to the shoe shop. There were too many bills to pay. She was surprised to see her hair grow back with flecks of grey. Sawyer got his P's, and he drove to Byron Bay. And days become weeks. She had 2 weeks' wages. He had nothing to lose. He worked in a shoe shop. She needed a new pair of shoes. She liked the way his eyes were black circles in pools of blues, and he liked the way her smile ended in a scar. Thank you. Really pleased to be back at the Dan O'Connell. I used to kick around here about half my life ago. On a Saturday afternoon, and it's where I first started trying out poetry, and I'm really grateful to the Dan for the support that it gives poets, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be asked to read here today. I remember distinctly living in St Kilda, writing a poem and saying, "I'm going to try this out at the Dan O'Connell." I remember the tram trip up, and I was reading it, and I was saying it in my head, and I was going to say it without reading. I was going to learn it off by heart. And it was a poem about my neighbour at the time in St Kilda. I lived there for about 8 months, and I never saw my neighbour. I just heard him through the walls, shout and shit out in the middle of the night. But never got to see. Another poem about him. Well, the last ray of Thursday stretches like a tired boy and pierces purple skies and stabs its yellow fingertips into the squinting, wrinkled eyes of Mr. Descartes. Mr. Tie on his hands in his pockets. Pockets are crammed with cigarette papers and a broken lighter, with holes and a pencil. 5 plastic dollars, a couple of cents, and the general requirements of another all-nighter. Another nowhere to go where you please don't rain. Captain Cook and Mr. Descartes stand on St Kilda Esplanade as still as each other, and as cold as each other, and as sturdy and stained and old as each other. Watch oil black waves lap soft on silted sands and clap their salted hands on ancient wood rots and Kilda piers as the last of the ancient St Kilda dears scurries home, chattering in Russian home to beat the night. Mr. Descartes scratches black and white stubble. He smiles at a loving couple of seagulls as they glide slowly out of sight. And under the sad, stoned eyes of Captain James, he turns to discover the night. And he sings to himself about 1,000 tears for my darling this morning, and 1,000 tears to date. She makes me smile as I remember her calling 1,000 miles away. Well, they're drunk and derelict hours hanging around the clock tower's four jaundiced faces, one's fast, one's slow, and one's stopped at 11 o'clock. One's at 9:26, one's at 12:34. Below them all, Mr. Descartes roars out the dregs of his lost lullaby as he ponders a bottle of $3.95. Special. Nestled in his fingers, he turns it once, he turns it twice, he gently breaks its neck and then he lifts it to his lips and there's that trembling expectation, then that stinging sweet surprise as it fills up to his eyes, as it overflows of icicles stinging down his cheeks as it burns his fucking heart out and leaks into his lungs and tickles open pores and wakes up last night's ginger wine to come and play some more. And all his mother's love and all his father's Christian fears won't be enough to call him back tonight. Won't be enough to call him home, because home is where the heart is. And that's one place Mr. Descartes can't bear to be alone tonight. Can't bear to be on his own tonight with a phone that's forgotten how to ring and blinds that never open, where the only words ever spoken are in bad English, in bad dreams, and sometimes it seems even his memories are tired. And even if he knew what it would take to wake them, he's sure he wouldn't know what's required. What are they good for anyway, memories? They just hang around the flat and gather dust, scare the cat, remind him of things. And so he walks alone and he sings about 1,000 tears for his darling this morning. 1,000 tears today. She makes me smile as I remember her calling 1,000 miles away. 1,000 tears for my darling this morning. 1,000 tears today. She makes me smile as I remember her calling 1,000 miles away. Thank you.
We're back into the second set of our feature now. Ken, are you good to go?
That's all good.
You're all good. Our feature, Mr. Felix Nobis, also has a CD. He doesn't have copies with him. You have to go on interwebs in order to find the CD. But it was released by Going Down Swinging as part of their One Night Wonders series. They set up a gig, recorded, and released the album of the featured folk.
So, you clap, Felix comes up, that's how this works.
Maybe not.
No. I'd turn it off.
Thanks, mate. There's a storm coming in from the south. There's steel in the air and my mouth tastes like metal and a chill wind tears up the street and then settles again and the whole fucking thing tastes like tin. And from the south there's a storm coming in. I sense a dark, uneasy emptiness across the football oval. And the lightning still strikes silent now, but you know it'll only be a matter of time before it shatters the clouds and explodes on the ground and it pounds on the corrugated roof like the sound of cricket stumps on a kettle drum, and from the south the storm's begun. And it looks like it's heading this way. And an 18-wheeler barrels by and through the dust and darkness I can make out death and cattle. And diesel in the air and the smell of cigarette smoke and get stuck somewhere in the back of my throat. I spit on the ground, I walk up the road till my feet hurt, I stand there alone. And there's a storm out in the south that's trying to make its presence known, and I can feel it almost groaning through my chest as it draws nearer, and the white eyes of panic and the sick smell of fear is still stuck in my shirt. And there's an overwhelming thirst and a longing just to wash away the dust and the dirt and last night from the street and the sticky trail of blood from a fight or from a leaking bag of meat that's been carried across town. There's an overwhelming longing and a dryness in my mouth and the promise of a storm coming in from the south sometime soon. Sometime soon. Across the street, I feel the heat of the afternoon still baking down below. It's aching for the rain that was promised here long ago, drenching the downpipes and quenching the drains and the gutters. I look back again and I see the horizon has teased itself open and evening skies are a shifting pattern of purple and grey, and a storm that appears to be drifting away in the south. Thank you.